Good afternoon, everyone. This is Senator Angela, your sister. Hope everyone is doing well. This beautiful Thursday afternoon, late afternoon. Wanted to come forth to, again, just share some thoughts and to convey some concerns. According to me, this is not forced upon anyone. It's just a general thought and to encourage thought and critical thinking. First of all, I'll start with a situation that happened today. One of the nurses came in contact, with the patient with the fever. And of course, right away, she put on the mask, did the protocol, etc., etc. And she began to panic and sweat and have these feelings. She said that a fever was coming upon her, but what it sounded like me was a panic attack. Anyway, long story short, something was wrong with the calibration of the machine that took the vital signs. And she explained to me that with all these symptoms, she wondered why she demonstrated all of these symptoms all of a sudden when she thought that this person had this so-called, virus. And I said, the mind is a powerful thing. As you can see, this patient did not have a fever at all. Something was wrong with the machine. But yet still you demonstrated all these symptoms that you figured or thought that this so-called virus would cause. That's how powerful the mind is. And also, she had everyone else doing the same thing, and they asked me if I wanted a mask or this, that, and the other. Of course, I didn't do a mask, but I asked some of the people, I said, if you don't want to hear what my thoughts are on this mask, please leave the room. And I've explained this to my students. I've explained it as a charge nurse to some of the nurses, on the floor about viruses. But anyway, I told her, first of all, those surgical masks, what most people are wearing, because we don't have access, or some people don't have access to the N95s, which is supposed to be for the most protection that you can have with a mask. But just remember that you have to be properly fitted for that N95. You just can't get any N95 because it's a test that you have to pass, and it have to be sized appropriately to have the correct mask so that nothing can filter inside of your nasal passage. So I explained that. And the other thing, I said the most appropriate and the most effective, not 100%, but the most effective is a PAPR machine. And that's a machine that basically blows out everything and filters in air so that you can breathe when you have this hooded mask on, when you're going into respiratory or droplet isolation. And also I told them any patient that came to the floor, if they were on respiratory isolation, if they were on droplet precautions, I put the patients or encourage the patients to be in a negative pressure room. And of course, we only have so many, so I prioritize accordingly. But if a patient is on some type of respiratory isolation, as they say this so-called virus is, or droplet, which they say this virus is, then my thinking is the most effective is that they are on negative pressure and they have the appropriate N95 and or a PAPR machine. And most people do not have that. Now, I'm not keeping up with the census of who have the virus or who don't have the virus. That's very contagious. If you feel that's appropriate to do, then go ahead, but I'm not keeping up with that, so I don't know what's going on. But fear is very, 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 very contagious, as I first demonstrated about this situation. And, you know, someone can cut their arm, and I've seen it happen, and not know that it's been cut. But as soon as they look down on somebody else, tell them to look down at the amputated site, they can go into shock. And I've seen it happen, and it's real. So that's the message that I really wanted to convey about this virus. Whatever you feel makes you feel comfortable, do it. Wearing the surgical mask, but I just voiced my opinion about that. And viruses, you know, basically are airborne. They don't generally like to cling on to objects, formites, or clothing. They like to be airborne, and they basically aren't really living or not living. They just have what we call sort of a span. And someone was saying somebody had the cure, but they were being banned for the virus. So I was like, if they have the cure for that, then they have it for the common cold. So if you can't kill the grandparents, how can you kill the grandchildren? I'm just trying to figure out. And like I said before, there's nothing new under the sun. So this situation is not really new. But anyway, enough on that. And my thoughts are, and I've demonstrated and conveyed this also, is as much as possible, be outside, be in the sun, as I mentioned, between the times of 12 and 2 o'clock. To boost the immune system, your hormones, your D3. If you can't, for some reason, the sun is not out a lot, like in certain places, and like it's not here, get you a supplement. D3, find some K2. If you can't find K2, make sure that you consume probiotics. Let's see. Also, I'm learning now about the sea moss, but that's something, an entire entity that I'm maybe going to investigate further into at a later date. Just be outside, especially between 12 and 2, to get some sunlight, walk, exercise, because, you know, the hormones are going to suppress and depress some people, but you have to be outside, moving, exercising. Don't stay in the house so much. Get out somehow. You know, I don't know what's coming as far as them quarantine people, but it's gonna, I guess, get pretty interesting. So I don't know, but as much as possible, find things that you like to do, dance, play music, sing, just stay active. Whatever you do, just stay active. And let's see. That's basically what I wanted to come forth and convey. Just those concerns and things to think about and consider. In my opinion, this is, again, nothing new. We all really have it. It's our body's response. And I'm not totally sure what's going on, but something is going on that's not appropriate. I could say that. But those are some key things to consider, the main things. And also, if you want immune boosters, of course, like I said, your vitamin D3, your vitamin C, your foods high in vitamin C, antioxidants, let's see, things that help kill viral, so-called, or bacterial inside the gut. Things like oil of oregano, but do not take that. Yes, maybe twice a week, and because it will zap out all the bacteria, and you don't want to do that because that won't give you anything to fight against the bad bacteria. So you don't want to totally take it every day. It also wipes out your red blood cells. If you're taking it every day, wondering why you're tired, this is talking to someone, I'm not sure who, but if you're taking it every day and you're totally exhausted, that's why it's wiping out your silver also. That's pretty good. I wouldn't take that every day as well, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, but not for prolonged periods of time, because you don't want it to always kill everything. But you know, I could do a whole different video on silver, because it has so many other benefits, but too much of anything can be also harmful. So that's something to consider as well. But those are two things that'll help your immune system and kill off bad germs that you won't harboring around. And also, you know, sage your house. Sage is excellent. Make sure you open all your doors and windows and let that negative energy out. Anyway, those just are some things to consider. My opinion, nothing to force on anybody, but something definitely to think about. Free your mind, keep your mind strong, and know that all is mental. Take care.